Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Kuri, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. So when it comes to being in a sexless relationship, it's very easy to look at your relationship and think, why did I make the mistake to end up in this place? Maybe I chose wrong. This person that is my partner is the wrong person. If I was with somebody else, I would not be in this situation. But I've got to tell you this, that if you chose somebody else, you would have ended up in a sexless relationship anyways. And I know some of you guys, there's some exceptions. You might marry somebody who's a nymphomaniac. Believe me, I've dated one. It's the most terrible situation you can be. Because again, imagine somebody who's never satisfied sexually, and like you think you can keep up, but literally after a week you can't take any more. So, which is a completely different problem. So you don't want somebody who's like hypersexual. Believe me, most guys think they do, but generally no. Anyways, you would have ended up in a sexless relationship because the way you feel validation, the way you feel close to somebody, the way you feel loved is formed when you were a young person and a child. And generally the relationship between you and your mother, it becomes a very important blueprint on how you have interactions with women for the rest of your life. Now, I'll use my personal story in order to give you the point of view of what I'm trying to say. When my mom has always loved me, and even more so now that I've come to the age of 40, I've seen all the sacrifices that she has done in order to make a better life for me and my siblings. And not only that, she's continuously shown the love and dedication she has for us. So I've no doubt that my mother loves me. However, when I was 6 years old and my mother went through a divorce, and she went through a divorce with a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So she had 3 children under the age of 7 years old. You can imagine. And then she had to move cities as well in order to get away from my dad, who was quite abusive at the time. And it was a very difficult situation, which caused her mental health issues. And again, now she's suffering mental health issues, but she still has to provide for the children. And not just that, but still manage, doing the housework and then also working. And so there were so many things that were happening where you could see that her mental state was not at the right place, especially, and I'd say at that time she was probably because 20 years older than me, so she was been about 26, 27, so she's still a really young woman, going through all this situation. And she's trying to figure out life. And again, she's gone through a divorce when it was still frowned upon for a woman to be divorced, but she had to so she was battling so many things internally and emotionally. And because of that, she was not available for us as children emotionally. She never stopped loving us. She always loved us. She always put us first. But from a standpoint where I felt validation, where I felt secure, where I felt close to her, it was difficult because she just didn't know how, because she just felt so lost. Now, this is a very important piece, because of that situation, in order for me to get close to her, or at least to feel close, and for her to feel, to validate me as a child, and for us to have that bond as mother and child, or at least reestablish it or continue on with that bond, I then decided maybe if I helped out her more around the house, that might just help situation. So I'll remove the burden of looking after the children. So I became very good at looking after my siblings, looking after them, making sure that they were dressed, making sure that we're going to go to school together. And especially the little one, I would also help with nappies. I would help with feeding. And then when it comes to cleaning the house, I'll take majority of the cleaning of the house. And you've got to bear in mind, this is now by the age of 10 years old. So 10 years old, I'm even learning how to cook and look after my siblings. So I'm taking all of these on. And because I was doing so well at doing those things, I would get loads of praises from my mom, and I would feel the most closest. And then this set up this whole blueprint of how I communicate with women. So in terms of if I wanted affection from a woman, I would then I felt like I needed to earn her affection. I needed to earn her love, which was the blueprint for the rest of my life. And a lot of you guys find yourself in this situation where now this is the established blueprint for you. And I can guarantee a lot of you guys are in the same boat that I am in. So this is why I say it doesn't matter. Actually, it does not matter who you're married, you'd have found yourself in the same place. Because what then happens when you get into a relationship, when you have this mindset, is that you then take on this place where if she's investing into the relationship, you would lower her investment. So at the moment she invests, like, no, I don't want you to work hard for this. I want to work and prove myself to you. And the less she invests within the relationship, the less that she values the relationship, especially from a sexual standpoint. So look at me, I'm going to do this. And you can see a lot of you guys that I speak to are really good at giving a woman an orgasm. Like, you're really good at it. You've studied it. Because you know exactly what to do to make her feel amazing. And by doing so, you've taken this sort of superiority, you're superior at it, so you should take the whole, and it's the hopes of taking over seduction so that she doesn't have to do any investment. And the problem with that is that you have to look at it this way. If she doesn't invest, it lowers the value of how she looks at the relationship. So for example, is if you got two millionaires, one is 1 million from a lottery, and the other one is worked hard to get that million. The way they view that money, or this in terms of the value, is completely different. Same amount, but the value that they place, the other one is worked hard for it. The other one is just won it. It's luck, sheer luck that they have it. And the one that is invested the most will see a lot of value in it. So we then tend to, and I call this industrious, become industrious within the relationship, trying to lower the amount of investment that she does. And by doing so, it lowers how she looks at the value of the relationship, especially from a sexual standpoint. This is the reason why. If you went on to be in a relationship with somebody else, in fact, a lot of you guys, if you're looking to divorce and looking to leave your partner because you're in a sexless relationship, I can guarantee you in your next relationship or marriage, you're going to be sexless because you've never resolved this. And it's a very, very important piece. And I think this episode is probably the most powerful episode I've ever made. And it's been inspired by a conversation I had yesterday, which became one of the most powerful coaching sessions I've ever had. And it's stuff that I've been thinking about for a long time. And it was just a few things that made it click. And now I'm in the place where I can now teach it. Because there is a correlation between how you interact with women based off of the interactions that you had with women in the beginning of your childhood. And that sets the template on how you interact. From a sexual perspective, if you feel like you're not enough and you need to be industrious in order to fight for affection, you need to prove yourself to get her affection, that is the dynamic that makes your situation sexless. Because she's lost value. She doesn't see any value within interacting with you or connecting with you sexually. Now, hopefully this has been a very powerful message for you guys. Something that is for you to think about and think, how do I transform this? And I'm going to be making a series of this. So we're going to walk through some of these things we've done in order to give people a chance to really start reversing it so that they can stop chasing the wife and then get the wife to start chasing you, because that's exactly the dynamic that you now need, where she's now beginning to invest in building her value of sex within her. So she's now, the value of having sex with you starts growing when she starts investing. So again, this is now you getting it to chase you. So thank you very much, guys. Hopefully this has been very powerful for you guys. If you've got any questions, go to thriving_tribesmen in Instagram and just go and ask a question. And if you've got any comments or anything that you want to say, just go and ask over there. So thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.